New York City has always been a place of constant change. Even in today's society, the Big Apple is consistently transforming. Nonetheless, is essential focus on the 1980s and the 1990s when efforts of gentrification first arose in the city. Gentrification refers to Disneyfication is defined as the process of renewal and rebuilding accompanying the influx of the middle class. Although gentrification appears to the major step towards the betterment of a city, it's caused much controversy in the city of New York. The three parts of New York that were mainly affected by gentrification were Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Times Square. When compared to the 1980s, New York is drastically different than the city that we know today. In the time the city had edge, the inhabitants of the area were emboldened with a sense of carelessness and freedom that no longer exists in the modern day society. Sanitation had greatly improved since the time of Jacob's Riis, but the cleanliness of the streets was still not too great. The city was chaotic, crime states were steadily rising, and people lived riskily, carefree on a daily basis. Similar to how it was in the 60s, the city was consumed of poverty, corrupt politicians, and economic recessions, among other things. Times Square was arguably one of the most dangerous spots in New York at the time period. Due to the large population, small businesses were always booming in the area. Entrepreneurs tried selling everything ranging from cigarettes, marijuana, to amenities from sins. The streets were filled with money, drugs, sex, and crime. One woman who grew up near Times Square at the time stated the problem was the guys you would see, one or two on each corner, and the impression is that every girl or every woman that passes by a hooker. I hated walking alone. Another young male stated that you couldn't even go to the nearest game center without getting pickpocketed. For the high-class New York City dwellers, gentrification was glorified as it was a major first step towards the betterment of the city. For the poorer class dwellers, gentrification was strongly opposed as it was seen as genocide of the poor people of the city. For many, the renovation created a strong sense of displacement because it created a large gap between the rich people and the poor people. After doing this research on the cause and effect of gentrification and its impact on New York City, I would say that I favor these types of renovations. As a people, I do feel that each person has a unique sense of individuality, and it is very important to hold on to the identity. However, I also feel that change is important to help a person grow and mature. It is vital to consistently change ourselves, especially if it is in a progressive direction. To further support my argument in favor of gentrification, I would like to elucidate on the fact that New York City is a much better place now than it was in the 80s. The city may not be safe or crime-free, but it is a much more family-oriented and decent place for a person to live and start a family. Today, Brooklyn and the Bronx are two of the most diverse neighborhoods in the nation, with huge African, Muslim, Italian, and Jewish populations. Times Square is one of the top tourist attractions in the world. And New York City as a whole is a global power city, making significant worldwide contributions to fashion, business, and entertainment, among other things.